Hello, welcome live to her journey the Latina way. And today I have a very special guest, and I'm really excited about what we're going to be talking about today. So, if you are new to this event has been created basically to serve as an inspiration for those who are looking to do the jump from corporate into entrepreneurship, and you are not sure how to progress, or what are the steps to follow. I want you to be inspired by the stories of these amazing women that I bring into this stage. I also created this to serve also as an inspiration for those who just need that extra inspiration, or they already have their business but they don't know how to take their business to the next level, or they might be in a process of doubting what they're doing. Then these can serve as the inspiration to keep you moving forward. And also for anybody who's here and loves to support Latinas and how Latinas progress in this world, then you're welcome to stay. So, for those who don't know me, I'm Brenda Lisa Costa. I'm known as the expert of of ending burnout. Oh my goodness, I can't get this right, because that's someone that worked multiple leadership roles in corporate for 24 years and plus, building my business. I watched it destroy people's lives. I watched it crush people's souls and dreams. So, and as an example of something that I have achieved is I've helped multiple women that have been experiencing that mental, emotional, physical exhaustion to feel energized and worthy while earning more money without sacrificing what they love. And there's a lot of things I'm working on. I'm working on revamping the breathing lab, so more to come on that. I'm working on bringing a spicy Brenda Liz into legendary leaders. So there's more to come through this year with the things that we're working on. However, today is not about me. Today is about my special guest, Maricel Rocha. So I'm just gonna bring her up while I introduce her. Welcome, Maricel. Maricel is an integrative health coach and positive intelligence coach, passionate about helping busy professionals over 40 reverse aging naturally. And you will love what she has to share. With a background in biochemistry and over 10 years in corporate, she now combines cutting edge science with holistic health strategies to help clients feel vibrant, energized, and younger from the inside out. So, with that said, Maricel, welcome you to her journey the Latina way. How are you?
Thank you so much, Brandalise, to have me. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you and your lovely Latina audience. Uh, I'm so happy to share my story with you and the people here. Hopefully, will get inspired and resonate with my story, which basically grabs the essence of the shifting, right? The coming from corporate and getting out and everything in between. So, again, thank you for having me.
So, can you share with the audience something that is uniquely you?
Well, what is uniquely me is that I lived in Brazil after Argentina. I was born and raised in Argentina, educated in Argentina, and then I went to live in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where I learned the culture, the language, the beautiful cities, and the nature. And then I came to the United States about a little more than 20 years ago. So I would say I'm an expert, and I had to go through different rounds of adaptations to new environments. And I think that that makes me more flexible, more able to understand, different people, different backgrounds, different colors, and it's all beautiful. But I think the ability to get adapted to different cultures gave me a strong skill at coaching when I do that, because I'm like, oh, I've been there, oh, I've done that, oh, it gives me a little more flexibility when I deal and coach people.
I also say empathy because we can understand, like by having the exposure that you and other Latinas have had, that they have left their countries, they have come to the U.S., including myself. I think it gives us a lot of empathy because we have the struggles we have experienced, and the breadth of experiences that we have allow us to understand different points of view and different positions, which is beautiful.
And the other thing, Brenda Liz, is the language thing. You learn, I had to learn Portuguese, right? So then I had to, well, I already learned English from little. My mom put me to start the English and take lessons since I was 8 years old. So, but in real life, I learned to read and understand people in the context of things. And that's incredible. It's a super powerful tool to read people and to understand the context. And sometimes, if there's a word that I don't know or how to pronounce or what to say, I think that it goes both ways. It's like it's easier for me to kind of understand what's behind people are saying. And it's easier for me to transmit and communicate my ideas because people know, oh, she has an accent, and they forgive me right, for my grammar errors, my misspellings, or lack of proper pronunciation and things like that. And that connects. That helps actually to connect better.
Mm. So it's funny because I remember, I think when I think of Spanish, I think of I was raised in Puerto Rico with my Puerto Rican style Spanish that some people may say Spanglish is not really Spanish, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It's my Spanish. And
Yeah.
so whoever want to criticize it, it's your story, not mine, and I'm fine with it, and I love my language. Anyway, with that said, when I jumped into the US, and I'm sure you experienced this, and this is part of what you're talking about, like I was in the work environment I was working, there were so many Colombians, Mexicans, Venezuelans, like people from so many different Latin cultures. And even though we do all speak Spanish, there were so many moments of confusion. Like, um, what do you really mean with that? Because that in Puerto Rico means something else. And then, like, it's like now you're expanding your vocabulary because you're not just having the vocabulary of the motherland where you were raised, but now Spanish becomes something so much bigger.
Yeah, no, totally. And you would laugh at this, but people say you're not from Argentina. You don't speak like sh. I'm like,
You
well, I
don't have the you don't have the
I don't, because I'm from Formosa, which is at the north of Argentina. We speak more like the people in Paraguay, right? Not like the people in Buenos Aires, which the porteños, or Rosario. And I got my education in Rosario, so I was immersed so many years in the Spanish from there. But I still kind of, if I speak Spanish with you, I'll probably end up our conversation with your accent or with your
that happened to me at the beginning when I moved to the US. I would be like a chameleon because I would absorb everybody's accent, and then my husband would be like, "Brenda, you're not speaking any more Puerto Rican," and I'm like, "Okay, now no, I feel." And well, I say that I don't, but when I go back home and when I speak with people from Puerto Rico, they're like, Brenda, your accent, like already, and the words you're using a lot of words that we don't necessarily use in Puerto Rico. And I'm like, well, I've had to learn, I had to adjust, which is
Yeah.
kind of funny. Do you have any funny stories about like anything that may have happened with maybe a language difference?
Oh, a lot, a lot. I mean, in my house, my husband is from, he was born here in the US, but his mom is from El Salvador and his dad is
Oh,
from Bolivia. So his Spanish is all about tú. My Spanish is all about vos, right?
Oh,
Vos sos.
yes.
So the way we the conjugate, is that how you say, how you conjugar verbos, the way you say things in vos, it's very different from tu. So
Yeah,
I'll
boss
never.
is with more respect. Like boss, it like comes out as more respectful. Like two is like more like you're talking to your friend.
No, we never say tu. We say vos or usted. Usted is more like with respect, right? But
Mm.
vos querés, vos sos, vos te sentís. So it's a whole different way of speaking Spanish. So in my house, we have, mom, Argentinian Spanish, dad, Central America Spanish. So my daughters, my girls speak like whole mess, and we created a unique Argentinian mix with Bolivian mix with El Salvador Spanish, and it's super interesting because only we understand what's going on, and every time we travel, they adapt very easily because we were really strict in keeping Spanish as much as possible in the house, 100% Spanish, and eventually they're like half and half now, but before, it was when they were young, it was really strict, but they got the root. So I'm now confident that wherever they go, even if they go to Argentina and they speak with vos, that'll be fine. If they go to Spain, they will survive.
Mm. So changing a little bit the direction of the conversation here, what inspired you to transition from that science-based corporate career into health coaching and entrepreneurship?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. I remember, I had a huge passion for learning and science. And I didn't want to stop studying. I wanted to keep learning, 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 learning. And I joined a group of Italian scientists in Philly. They were doing cancer research.
Mm.
And what happened was that they were I was part of the team. We were implanting tumors into animals, mice, and trying different genetic. Back then, it was like all about RNA silencing to see if genetic therapy could kind of cure cancer. And my first breakthrough during that experience, because I had a personal situation with cancer prior to that, so I was really curious about understanding. But I got the point at a point that I saw that you cannot represent in an animal model what's happening in a human being, right? Because we, as people, persons, we have emotions, we have our mindset, and all of those things cannot be measured, be measured back then, 20 years ago, in a animal model. So I was like, I think that the truth has to come from a more holistic view, and not just the tissue, not just the organic part. There has to be something else. So I
Mhm.
left the academia and I joined the corporate side. And I joined this company about natural supplements and protein shakes and things like that, multivitamins. And although I couldn't explore much about science, I got the opportunity to connect. And I traveled over South America and Central America, and I discovered my passion for connecting with people that I didn't have before, because I was just dealing under the microscope, cultivating my cells and isolated from the world. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay. I loved having my teams and working with people, and I enjoyed traveling also. But then I started having a family, and it became a little hard for me with the first child, and then the second, and then the third. So by the
Oh,
time
so you have three. Okay.
I have three. I
How old are
have three
they?
girls,
Oh, girls.
18,
Good.
and the youngest is 14.
My daughter's
So you
age.
can, yeah, you share. So imagine that. I was like, working full time with three little creatures in the house, and commuting in LA is really brutal unless you live super close. So there was a point where I was like, I love what I'm doing, my job, people, connection, teams, everything perfect. But I I couldn't have the time. I couldn't get a balance to be with my daughters. So I decided to quit, stay at home, and be part of, that short time in their lives that they're still at home, right? In the
Mhm.
moment, I thought it was forever, but now that when I see in perspective, it's like a blink. It's so fast. They grow so fast, and I'm so happy I made that decision, because I was able to be a witness for when they first start doing things and discovering the world. So I was a stay-at-home mom for a long time when then COVID hit. And that
Mm.
was when I was like, okay, what can I do with my science background, my passion for learning, now that I have more time, now that I can do what I really want to do, helping people. And that's when I decided to get my training as an integrative health coach, which basically means the integration, the holistic health, not only the body, but emotional, mentally, spiritually. So the whole person, as a whole person.
Mhm. So, so you did the jump into health coach, and then how did you go into from health coach into now the process of reversing age, which I find fascinating.
Oh my gosh, it is fascinating. It all starts because as a yoga teacher, I'm not sure if I shared this with you. When I teach yoga, I do practice yoga and I get the benefits too. So when I go back, like 2020, we were in COVID, all lockdown, and I had to kind of choose my niche. You probably heard about this. You have to choose your niche.
Do we have to choose a niche? And I'm just kidding.
And
Go
then
on.
people say, oh, the niche will choose you, right? Anyway, so I was like, what can I do so that in the process of doing something for me, I can share with the world, I can learn, and I can, get results that I can share with the world. So I start thinking, I'm like, well, one of the most important things that kind of is at the base of everything, the way I see the world, is that I learned that prevention is much easier than dealing with curing, healing, or repairing. Prevention is at the base of everything I try to do. So I told myself, okay, if I rejuvenate, if I invest my time, my energy, my effort to do that on me, and I get the results that I want, and then I share with the world, I can get what I want, which is live longer in a healthier way, postpone the onset of all chronic diseases that we're kind of accepting, oh, it's because of aging. Now we know it's not. So that's why I thought, okay, what I would actually like to do is to help people prevent chronic diseases. But because you cannot actually have immediate results of prevention, right? I cannot tell you, okay, Brenda Liz, I'll teach you how to prevent cancer, and tomorrow you will see the results. I mean, there's nothing you
This
can
is
do.
not that's
It
not
doesn't
how
work.
it works. Bring
So
me the magic wand. Bring me the magic wand. Shoo.
in the process, I started doing research, and 3 years ago, this is the exciting part. About, let's see, 2020, yeah, 2022. Um, there was a huge wave of new papers being published on epigenetics. What is
Beautiful.
epigenetics? Epigenetic is the science, the part of the science that explains the regulation of gene expression. Meaning, you could have perfect genes from your mom and dad, but if your lifestyle is not good, then the way you regulate those fantastic, amazing genes are not going to be optimal. Right? And for the first time in a long time, scientists were able to explain why identical twins, same genetics, one would develop a chronic disease, the other one wouldn't. So that was what I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, because finally scientists were able to create a molecular tool that would measure the impact on, sleep deprivation, nutrition, exercise, and other lifestyle um, options that people do, that before they were not able to do that. So I was doing, this was something that was really, really cool for me back then. As a person from biotech, when the human genome was sequenced back in 2000, we thought, oh, okay, we're going to understand all diseases and we're going to learn. And that didn't happen. Why? Because it's not, the whole story cannot be explained just by genetics. It's when genetics is complemented by epigenetics where you understand what's going on. So I'm not sure if I was able to explain epigenetics in a simple way, but basically,
I think it was very simple. Like, I have tried to explain this to other people, and I'm like, oh my God, Maricel just explained it so easy and simple. So yeah, I'll have this recording. I can come back to this recording at any time. But yeah, because for some people it's not that simple, but I think you did explain it very simple. So thank you for sharing that.
yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity. This is, very powerful to empower people and let everybody know that you're not sentenced or condemned by your genetics, right? It's
So
about the epigenetics.
So, how do you combine the knowledge of the health coach, right? The holistic health coach, the holistic health strategies, and you combine then the knowledge of epigenetics? How do you combine that to help basically your clients? And how do you help your clients?
So what this new tool brought to health coaching, health coaching is the prevention, right? It's helping people prevent. So I'm not a doctor. I cannot prescribe or heal or cure, but I can help people postpone, manage their through their lifestyle options, how to protect themselves from getting those diagnoses. So what happens is that there's a test, epigenetic test that they take, and it comes with comprehensive results, including the biological age of people. So you could be, let's say you are 40, but this test will tell you if your biological age is 45, 50, or 30, right? It will tell the age of your physiology right now. And it
I'm
will.
scared of taking that test. I'm sure I'm not the only one, because I think after you hit the 40s, it's like so many things start to happen in your life. And it's like, oh my, I was telling my husband, I'm like, I have this friend and she does this. And he's like, oh my God, what age do you think you are? And I'm like, don't ask, don't ask.
Yeah, but you know what? Well, it's very private. It's you know, unless if you agree, like I am posting my results, and I have most of my clients super engaged in participating into something called Rejuvenation Olympic. And what happens?
Oh, that's cool.
So instead of becoming a runner, a swimmer, a tennis athlete, right? Tennis player, you become a rejuvenation athlete, meaning you take the test, and part of the results, it comes with a bunch of information. But one of the main points is the pace of aging, which is the speed of aging that you are having right now. It's like a picture of your status and the speed of aging. And that
Mm.
number could be zero point 0.6 or 0.5 to 1.20 something or more.
So if I
Being
have a 1.20 something, what does that mean?
That means that if you're one, you are aging 12 months per year.
Okay.
So we don't want you to have a number above one. We want you
Mhm.
to have a number below one.
Well, actually, I think this is cool because I think there is so much power into knowledge. I think knowledge is power if you do something with it, right? So
Exactly.
if you're gonna do something about it, knowing those numbers, it's powerful because then you can change them.
Yes, I can share with you. I recently, the last test I took, I reverted the age of my heart by 2 years. So when I previously to the last test, the test comes with the age of 11 organs. And then I remember my heart was one of the organs that was aging faster than the other organs. So I was like, okay, for this period of time, I'm going to just work in on supporting my heart and cardiovascular health. So I put together a protocol, including eating avocados every single morning for breakfast. And guess what? It worked because now the latest test that I took showed that the age of my heart is 2 years younger than the previous one.
And the funny part is our our whole body regenerates. Like it takes year, like it's not all happens at the same time, but like your liver, you can regenerate a liver between 6 to 8 weeks. Like you're literally have a new liver between 6 to 8 weeks. If you do the changes in your habits, in your patterns, in your lifestyle, you can literally have a healthy liver in 6 to 8 weeks, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
fascinating.
yeah. The liver is one of the most important organs. I guess what to make it easier to understand the power of epigenetics, I usually mention, I put in parallel. You can go to the doctor, you get a bunch of blood test markers that you go to, they take your blood sample and then you receive the numbers, right? And those numbers help your doctor to give you a diagnosis or tell you, okay, this might be happening, this happened. It gives you a status of how your body internally is working right now.
Hmm.
Now, when you do epigenetics, what you're seeing is the projection because the numbers are called proxy because they are a result of a algorithm, machine learning, data analysis in very sophisticated algorithms uh, done by these computers that compares your DNA methylation with a pool of other women your age, your chronological age, and then it projects and say, okay, based on the way you are having your DNA methylation right now, there's a risk of, let's say, 80% that you will develop type 2 diabetes, for example. Or you will compare the same marker you got in your blood with the marker that the epigenetic proxy is estimating. And then you can learn. It's like it gives you a perspective. Your doctor will tell you, oh, Brenda, your numbers are great, everything is under the normal range. But then you do the epigenetic and then you see that your hemoglobin, the A1C, is higher. And when you compare with your normal in the blood but higher in the proxy, well, guess what? That is telling you that unless you change your lifestyle right now, you're going to go to type 2 diabetes, right? So it
Mm.
gives you awareness on the pieces that you have to change in your lifestyle to prevent problems, issues, chronic diseases in the future.
I'm trying to remember. I think I participated. This was probably, I don't know, maybe 2017. No, 2015. Maybe it was in 20. No, it was after 2016, 2017. The company I was working for, they had a partnership with a company that was based in in Seattle. And I'm trying to remember the name of the company. I don't remember. But we had the opportunity to participate in a test, and they would take saliva, they would take different blood tests and all of that, and they would give us the predispositions. I'm wondering if I still have that. But then that's taken based on a point in time, right? So I'm assuming that as I age and all of that, those numbers can actually change. So I'm just curious if I have that like historical data. It would be so cool to. Anyway,
To
this is
compare, yeah, no, totally.
compare absolutely. So going a little bit back here, why is mindset just as important as diet and exercise when it comes to the topic of slowing down the age?
Well, um, the first point that I would like to mention is my own experience before COVID. I was a wellness coach, helping people to lose weight, gain more energy. And I discovered that after doing the program, they would revert back to old habits. So if they would lose the weight, they will gain it back. So I was looking for a system, a program, some kind of mindset tool that will, bulletproof them so that they won't revert back to previous old bad habits. That was the first time that I was like, okay, I need to find a solution, because it's not that people don't know, it's not lack of information, it's lack of willpower, if you would say. It's lack of determination and self-command. And then doing research, when I was putting together all the pieces that are showing in the research that are impacting the regulation of genes or the epigenetic of aging, mindset one of them. So there are studies that demonstrate, if you put people thinking positive, cultivating, gratitude and compassion, empathy, and then you have another pool of people cultivating negative emotions, and then you measure their epigenetic profile, you can see differences, and you can see. And there's an old study about the nurses who, through prayer, contemplation, they created positive mindset of appreciation and faith. They live longer. And now we have the proof at a why that happens. So those are the two things that I was like, okay, this has to be part of my programs, because people, once they start adding healthy habits, they're not going to stop doing that once we're done with my program. And B, they're not going to self-sabotage. And that's how I found this beautiful program called Positive Intelligence. So I did it myself. I got amazing results, and I became a coach. And now I use it with my clients. It's called mental fitness, where you get the training to stop the self-sabotage. And when you stop sabotaging your nutrition, right? And you eat because you're hungry and you need nutrition, not for other reasons.
Mhm.
Right there, you have, you sustain weight loss. Number two, it helps with stress. When you practice mindfulness, your stress level gets low, and all the physiology inside you, inside your cells, get more efficient, because you don't have cortisol messing up with all the metabolic routes.
Mhm.
It helps with your purpose, your joy. You learn the things that creates joy in your life.
I was reading a book this weekend because I'm on a mission of listening to one audiobook per week. So by the end of the year, I have heard 52 books. So that's my goal. I don't know. I love to put those type of weird goals, and they keep me motivated. So anyway, I was listening to an audiobook, and I don't know if you've heard of this before, Ikigai.
Yeah.
So they were talking about how in Japan there was a specific group of people that they were studying because they were living long lives, and like not unhealthy but healthy long lives, right? And a big portion of it was because they were living in a way that was very joyful, very tied into doing the things that they really loved and enjoyed, right? And I think what you just said just reminds me of the importance that living in our purpose living fully in our purpose plays a key role in how we show up in life and how we live our lives. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that internalized in your metabolism and the way you are aging. Totally.
Cool. So I it's been 35 minutes and I feel like I'm just in my living room having a conversation here with Maricel, and I forget completely that this is a a live event. Um, what are the biggest myths that you have seen people say to you or you have heard um, about aging that you would love to debunk today?
Thank you for asking me that question because there's one that bothers me a lot, and it's the one that says, "Oh, don't worry, you're young. You don't have to worry about aging or longevity. You're 30, you're 40, you're even 50. Don't worry about aging. Maybe when you are in your 70 middle, like, and that's so wrong. Alzheimer, dementia, for example, cognitive decline manifest sometimes even 30 years after it started. And it's so hard to revert once you get a diagnosis, then it's really hard to revert. It's not impossible, it's hard. But when you
Why?
are in your
Why is hard?
Why it's hard? Because you deal with simultaneously many conditions. Like the average U.S. American adult uh, has one chronic disease diagnosis by age 55.
Ooh.
70% of Americans, I think it's 78 for men and 75, a little less for women, but overall, let's say 70% for 55 years old, chronologically dealing with one chronic disease, right? And then the other one, and then the other one.
Mm.
So if I get a client, let's say at 70, that comes already with three diagnoses, right? It's going to be really hard to revert aging. It is possible. I've seen it. But if you are in your 30s or early 40s or even 40s, you get more control. You can revert things, you can postpone onset by doing little things. So if you are older, you want to go revert back your biological age, you have to be very aggressive in your approach. But if you're younger, you have that luxury of, doing little things that will be super impactful overall throughout your health span, which is the time alive and optimal health. So the myth is, don't wait. Don't wait until you see evidence or signs or symptoms. Start now and start with the basic. One of the fundamental pillars, one of the things that I do with my clients, and lately it's like almost all of them, is helping them optimize their metabolic health, which is the sugar control, because the bad management of sugar in blood creates inflammation, creates obesity, creates skin issues, eczema, creates dementia, creates so many complications that if you attack the root, you think that you are just regulating, controlling your sugar, but what you're actually doing is you're clearing your years to come being healthy. That's the investment that you're doing right now for your future self, so that when it's time, you reach your 80s, 90s, 100s, you get a centenarian, you enjoy life until the end. So your health span matches your life span. When it's time to go, you don't suffer. You're not intubated. You're not connected to, you're not sick. You're a healthy person at the end of your life. That's my ultimate goal, and that's what I want to help people with.
It's about having quality life. That's what, like, I was having a conversation with my husband, and it's like what do I want in the next years? Quality life. Like I want to enjoy life. I don't want to be tied into, the jargon, the details of going to the doctors and blah blah blah, etc., etc. And I
Yeah.
love I love how you combine all of it. Like it's really a holistic, you know, approach, because you're considering all components of the holistic within it. So it's not just about like the physical. Normally the physical is the last part that we see, but usually it's like the bundling of the emotional, the mental, the spiritual that then cascades down into the physical, which is kind of cool to know that you are following an approach that takes into consideration all of it, which is beautiful. Any
That's
other
right.
myths? Any other myths?
Um, yes. Well, let's see. What came to my mind when you were saying those things is, the purpose, the reason why is crucial. One of the first questions that I ask my clients is why? What is your why? What is your reason? You
Hmm.
have to have a strong purpose to live until you reach your 100 years and beyond. If you
That's
don't have that, if you cannot visualize yourself playing with your grandkids or being at the graduation of your grandkids, things like that, it's really hard to change your lifestyle, right? If I tell you, okay, based on your results, let's work on nutrition, and then there's something you won't feel kind of, but then you remember your why, and then you remember, okay, that's the why, that's the reason why I'm doing this. So the whole process gets easier.
how quickly do you see results in your clients?
I would say 8 weeks is like the fastest. The interventions, the protocols, and even clinical studies have shown that in 8 weeks people can revert up to 2 to 3 years. In
Oh.
my experience with my clients, I've seen in 6 months. So 3 to 6 months is when you start sustaining the changes. Then you
Mm,
see a reduction in biological age for 2 to 3 years. Yeah.
mm. So what are some of the simple changes that people can do, like that, that anybody who's listening here today could walk out of here saying, okay, this is one quick change I could do in my life, and it's going to have a ripple effect?
Okay. So there are many things you can start doing. Control
Just
your
one, just one, just one,
just one. Um,
or two.
well, if I tell you sleep better, you already know that, right?
Yeah,
If I
we know.
just control your stress, you already know that. But if I would tell you control your sugar and get what biosensor, the now it's over the counter. Any person
Mm,
who is an adult, 18 years old and above, can get over the counter. It's
mm.
convenient. It's about $100, and you get the biosensor for use it and track your glucose in your blood for just 1 month and learn on
How do you,
yourself, not because somebody told you, how do you respond to the meals that you're having. And this is important because culturally, like Latinas are used to have like lots of carbs in the morning.
and
And
a lot of rice, like a Puerto Rican dish without white rice is not a Puerto Rican dish.
right, well, I'm going to share with you, if you're interested, I can show you hacks that you can do to avoid glucose spikes and still enjoy your rice, your meals. And but
I know
you have to
I know one with rice, and it involves coconut oil. Is that the one you're talking about?
no, I was thinking about the sequence, like have your rice,
Ah,
but first make sure you have a salad with vinegar or lemon. um yeah, and then
mm.
there are many things. It's not about eliminating the things that you love. It's about doing those things in a smart way, in a way that is not going to affect your spikes. Whenever you have a glucose spike, you are getting inflammation, you're getting visceral fat, you're getting so much
Mm.
trouble inside you.
Now I want the biosensor.
So that would be my tip. If you want my kind of and it's new, it doesn't even have a year that people can do this as a preventive way.
Mhm.
You don't need to be a diabetic to track your glucose in blood. You can do it. Anybody can do it. And it's so important because you have immediate response, and what you can measure, you can manage. And then you can learn and adjust your nutrition, your exercise routine, your sleep habits, everything around. And if you keep consistency and your sugar shows, steady without too many spikes, I mean, here and
Mhm.
there is normal, but you want to avoid that. Then you're going to be in fat burning mode longer. You're going to
Mm.
decrease inflammation. You're going to prevent issues. Your skin, oh my gosh, your skin will glow. You're going to get rid of eczema. I mean,
So
so many things.
people already say I don't look the age I am, so now they're gonna even go even more crazy about it. Okay, that's good to know. Especially as I'm approaching the 50s, then it's good to know that I can hack that.
Especially, yeah, we women, when you reach perimenopause or menopause, then the hormonal imbalance creates so much stress inside your body that is almost impossible to lose weight. That is very common in women. And the way, when you get your circadian rhythm up to, day by day, you go to bed at the same time, you wake up at the same time, and then you control your sugar, then you start losing weight and things become much easier.
I am so bad with that. Like my sleep. I think that's one of the things I need to reshift in the next couple of months. My sleeping and my sugar intake. I think if I shift those two, it's a major shift in my life. But yeah, I'm a night owl. But and a friend of mine posted something today about being a night owl and how like there's no right or wrong. You just have to follow what's right for you, right? You can still make a night like you if you are an evening person, you can still might make that work. When it becomes a challenge is when you have kids, because no matter if you're a night owl, you have to wake up by a certain time to make sure they're out to go to school. So yeah, that's when now my sleeping is so messy because I'm a night owl trying to live the life of someone who's not. So yeah, Kinga, you too, you're a night owl. Good night owls here. So yeah, you would see me at 11 o'clock at night, 12, sending people messages. But
Mm,
yeah, oh, 1 o'clock in the morning. I normally go to bed like I go to sleep like around 2 o'clock in the morning. But then by
mm,
7 o'clock in the morning, I have to wake up. So I'm not sleeping my whole cycle. And then I crash like a couple of weeks in between. I crash. And but I know that like this is something that needs to change. And I'm starting to change. I've been going to bed at 12 for the last 2 weeks. So that's a big accomplishment for me. Now 11, then 10, little by
baby
little.
step,
Baby
baby step.
steps.
I'm gonna just share two things that you may think twice the next time you're tempted to stay longer at night. So one thing is that there's a hormone called the growth hormone that it's really helpful with health span and longevity, but
Okay.
it's only being released in peaks, and the earlier you go to bed, the better chance you'll get to get that release. If you miss that wave that comes around 11 to midnight, if you go to bed
Ooh.
after midnight, you're missing that wave and you're
Oh
not going to get it.
no. Okay, you gave me a
That's one
good
thing.
reason to go to bed at 10. I need
The
to
other
make
reason,
the cutoff. And then the 10 o'clock cutoff. Boom.
but now you know you cannot, I know, right? Now you know. And the other thing is that it's only when you are in deep sleep stage that the repair in your brain cells occurs. So if you only get bad quality sleep and you're not reaching at least more than 1 hour of deep sleep, then you're not repairing the part of the brain that is linked to memory, focus,
Mm.
mental fog. And now it's not a big deal. But in 20 years from now, 30 years from now, you don't want to accelerate the onset of cognitive decline because you're sleep deprived,
Okay,
right?
okay. You got me convinced, Maricel. You got me convinced. I just need to create a plan to get there. You
I
just
don't
got
want
me
you to feel
convinced.
bad about it, just a little awareness and empower message that, take your health seriously. This is the only body that you have on this time on earth, right? So take good care of yourself. And, don't, it's not negotiable. Self-care is not negotiable.
So knowledge with action is power. So
Yeah.
now I have the knowledge. Need to take the action, and then I will be powerful. Oh my goodness gracious, this was a fun conversation. Um, what like it? We've been here for 51 minutes. So, um, if people are curious about reversing their age and like having a better quality of life as they age, and they wanted to connect with you on this topic, what's the best way for them to reach you?
I think the easiest way is to send me an email or just go to my website. It's my name, maricelrocha.com.
Okay.
And connect with me, send me an email or schedule an appointment and let's talk because each person is at a different state in the rejuvenation journey, right? It's a journey, it's a process. And I usually compare to school, like, there are people in preschool, there are people in high school, there are people already in college in terms of rejuvenation. So if you're a person who are already doing, you're smoking and you are drinking, that I would consider kindergarten in the rejuvenation process. I cannot talk about supplements with you if you are that. First stop those things because reversing aging from smoking takes about 7 to 10 years. So, you won't get good results unless you stop smoking, right? That's crucial. But if you come to me and you're like, okay, I'm eating super clean, my sleep is great, I do my exercise, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so maybe you're a high schooler in rejuvenation. And what would be your next level, right? So each person is different. My blueprint uh, contains 7 areas of I call it the 7 pillars of age reversal. So we together explore each one of them for the person, and then we create a sort of path so that they get better results sooner. And of course, the test, if they take the epigenetic test, is much easier because we can see and we can understand exactly, very personalized, what needs to be done for them. It comes with the things that are making them aging, older. So you can just fixing those things, you can revert the biological age. So
Mm. Oh, this is so fascinating. You have a free gift for the audience. Tell us more about it.
yes, I have a free gift that is a quiz. So because the test is kind of expensive and it takes time to get your results, as a screening, as a first round in your longevity journey, I develop a quiz, and through a series of questions, very basic, in 5-7 minutes, you can learn what type of ager you are. You could be a slow ager, you could be a regular ager, you could be a fast ager, and you didn't
Mm.
know. So just take the quiz, learn, and it will give you, depending on what subtype of ager you are, it will come with a guide that will share, will tell you, give you ideas and tips on how to reduce the speed of aging.
Oh, this is cool. This is cool. Okay, so everybody, we'll put the link in the comment section. As soon as the link is there, you'll see my comment. Go and do the test because I think it's gonna be fascinating. And if anybody wants to share a little bit about what their results were, you don't have to. I mean, but if you want to, you can share it personally with Maricel through Messenger, or if you want to post it, perfectly fine, post it. But if you want to share with us separately, you can also share that with us separately. Um, Maricel, before we adjourn, any final thoughts or inspirations for the audience?
Inspiration, now that we are in the week of St. Valentine's Day, I think the message, love yourself, love everything you are, your mind, your body, your soul, your emotions, your experience, your life, your house, your challenges, everything that makes you, you love yourself.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay, so once again, I want to thank you, Maricel, for being here, for sharing all those wisdom and knowledge with the audience. And thanks for the people who have been active and have been present here. Thank you for your participation. And if you are just seeing the end of this, go back because it's been a really cool and powerful conversation. So, with that said, I hope you all have an amazing rest of the week, specifically a Valentine's week. I don't necessarily celebrate Valentine's, but it's a personal, like, I am perfectly fine with people celebrating Valentine's. I've never celebrated Valentine's myself, and that's okay. That's my personal decision. But I do hope everybody has an amazing Valentine's Day if you do believe in it. With that said, thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. Thank you so much, Brenda Liz. Thank you. Yeah.